You are a midlife woman and you know that you have got something incredible within you. Only something along the journey feels like it got disconnected. And now maybe it's super hard to feel like you exactly know what you stand for anymore, as though you've evolved and changed so much on the inside, you almost can't recognize yourself. And there's this sense of needing to do something different, unique, and novel, and you don't know how the hell to get there. And you know, like at 1 minute, you really valued a certain set of things. And now, as you've changed with experience and wisdom, you have kind of this different sense of what you're really all about in this lifetime. If this is you, then hi, my name is Jen. I'm the founder and owner of Laughing Lotus Wellness. I'm a transformational midlife purpose coach. And what I do is help women in midlife answer the question, is there more, with a resounding hell yes. And I really support them to get clear around where they've been, where they're going, and how they're going to get there. And one of the base things that I love to do with them is a little exercise we're going to start with in just a minute. And so I do know over the years of working with people in clinical social work, as a psychotherapist, and also in coaching and in healing modalities, that this is a really wonderful tool to use to begin to really shift into greater alignment for yourself. We're going to talk about what the heck that means and why that's so important in a second. So I'm going to give you 2 steps and then a why, right? I think it's really important. I don't know if you're anything like me, but one of the biggest questions I'm asking in my life almost all the time is, why would I do that? What's that about, right? So I'm going to answer that for you in a second. So what we know, to me, is so important is your value set is your foundation. So I want you to imagine if you were going to build a house, that your values are literally the foundation of your home. What that means is that everything that's brilliant comes and is built from that space. And it's a really wonderful tool to check into something, which is point number 2. Your decision is made from that foundation. It is made from your values almost always. When it's not, you'll feel a sense of like dis-ease. You'll feel a little wiggly, a little yucky. You're like, something doesn't quite feel right. There is a sense of being out of alignment for your soul in some way, shape, or form. And so I want you to really think about that. If we're making that decision, it's really important to take a look at it. And what can happen is, with time and age, and I see this all the time, it's actually such a fun exercise to do with my coaching clients, because what they really define for themselves is that where they started and like where they are right now are not the same. So yes, some really paramount values for them have stayed the course, but some have really shuffled around. And very often I hear the values of freedom and liberation are 2 of the most common ones that I hear. So I'm hearing a lot of legacy, liberation, freedom. And so it's not just the, right, like love, compassion, kindness, honesty. Yes, those things are all in there. They're sprinkled in. But I really want you to go in and start a priority list, 0 to 10, 1 to 10. So what you're going to do is go in, pick out your top 10, which is this is so hard. I'm just going to tell you right now, it sounds easy to your ears. Trust me, it'll take you a minute to shuffle everything around. So from 1 to 10, prioritize. Good luck, because it's hard. And I would love to hear you in the comments below. List out 2 or 3 of your favorite values for me, if you would, because I love to hear, and it's always great, right? Every single thing that we do in our process inspires and empowers another woman. So share your ideas. What are some of your biggest value sets, your like most rooted, grounded, and firm value sets? List them in the comments. Prioritize 1 to 10. 2, we know we decision make from this space. It is literally your internal compass. And so what you want to think about is, if I'm making choices in my career, in my life, that no longer feel like they sit well with me, then it is time to make a change. And I know for me, I went from a space of saying that my purpose was to help people to being much clearer about that. So that's number 1. But also, when I started that journey, I was like, what's wrong with me? Because like, I'm doing my dream gig. Like I thought this was what I was always going to want to do. I valued supporting and helping people heal along their journey, which I have been doing for like a really long time, right? And it was the method to which I was delivering my services that stopped feeling satisfying to me. Psychotherapy in and of itself stopped feeling really joyful the way that it should have. And I knew something was wrong. I was like, something is wrong, because I do not feel like this about my work. I had created this business, blood, sweat, and tears. So to be in a space of having to really realign, that was super, super hard. and like gut-wrenching and took a long time. I'm here to try to help other women avoid that if at all possible, because I know it took me way too long. And I was so stuck in all of the blocks around that. And I tell you, I honestly, when I say this is like kind of embarrassing. I wish someone had said this to me. When I started talking about changing, right, changing lanes, which is how I refer to it, people were supportive, surprisingly. There was a few people that at first were like, it's like, this is like a big change. Are you sure you want to do this? Mostly very supportive. And the one thing that I really didn't do was I didn't sit down and look at my priority list of my values at all. And had I looked, it would have been alignment. It would have been like alignment would have been on there. And I don't know that I had the words for that at that time. If that makes sense. Like, it needs to be aligned for me. My soul needs to feel like I'm going in the direction I'm being called. And I knew I was having this sense that I needed to do something else and just not what and how. And so I do wish I had sat down for myself and looked at this list, because it would have been a really huge, powerful journey for me to start that from that foundational space, instead I bumped along and learned and figured out as I went. I don't recommend, just gonna say. So, right, the why is that this is just your soul compass. That's really the most beautiful and powerful space you can ever make decisions from. It's knowing yourself, and then it's really sticking and committing to your value set. It's like, this is about my alignment. This isn't just about a job or a task or a role that I have in my life. It's big stuff for us. And what happens is it brings us so much joy and peace and connection and passion, right? And what it does is, when we're really living in that space from those values we most admire and want to kind of live in, it's fire. It's fire for your soul. It really is. And I had lost that of mine. And that was where I was like, something's wrong. I'm not laughing as much. I'm not as passionate. I'm like, something is wrong. I'm not creating things. I knew deep down something was wrong, but I wish I'd had done this kind of exercise for myself. You would be surprised how things may have changed. What's really fun is when clients start somewhere and say, this is where I started, this is where I've been in midlife, this is where I started, this has morphed into this. I started here, it morphed into this. That is so freaking powerful. And so I give you the suggestion of sitting down and giving yourself permission to really look at this, really dive in and really take a look at what you're really needing in this foundational space in your life. Commit to that. Commit to really owning that power and that truth that you're carrying around inside your soul about what you're made of, because that is actually connected to your purpose as well. So we'll get there, but I want to say it's even really deeply connected to your purpose. I'm sure we'll make our way back to this. So listen, if this was helpful, I invite you to head on over to my website at laughinglotuswellness.com and go over purpose tools. And I have all sorts of vlogs. I mean, every single kind of like conceivable. I'm not even kidding. There's so many tips, tools, and tricks in there. I invite you to head over there and take a look and peruse and see if there's anything that is helpful to your journey. But again, that's laughinglotuswellness.com. But my friends, for now, I hope that you are surrounded in blessings, love, and light. I hope that you are willing to lean in to committing to yourself in this journey. When you know that something might be misaligned, it is. And if your answer to is there more is not a resounding hell yes, you might want to think about what's kind of not going right now, right? And then commit to investing your time and your trusting yourself and rediscovering and redefining what it means to be in midlife. So we will definitely see you next time, my friends. Blessings, love, and light. This is Jen signing off, supporting you to revolutionize midlife and helping you to rise on your path to purpose.